Hello everyone, welcome back. So you can see I'm playing Devil May Cry 5 again, and today I'm going to be showing off Dante's Sin Devil Trigger, which is the newest form that you unlock. And I was going to play through the game's story, which I probably will still end up doing, just showing off the boss fights, but it's been 2 weeks now, so I'll be diving deeper into spoiler territory. Starting with Dante's new Devil Trigger, because you've seen that in the trailer, and then the next one up, and then the two after that are going to be very spoiler heavy, so we're just going to start out slow and then build up to it. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, I'm using the Faust hat here. Got hit right away. But yeah, this is actually really good for getting red orbs. As you can see, you put the hats on them, and then when you do hat trick, as you can see, I'm just pulling off millions of red orbs at a time. Not exactly millions, but you can definitely see it racking up really quickly. So if you want a way to get those EX provocations, this is a good way to do it. Yeah, I'll just basically be running through the whole mission, because this is actually the mission that you unlock the Sin Devil Trigger, so it's good to see the story. Yeah, anyway, I'll show you here. You hold down the Devil Trigger button, and as you'll see, he charges up the Sin Devil Trigger gauge, which is that like red and black swirling one there. And as you can also see on my back, I have the Devil Sword Dante, which again is created in this mission. And these enemies are very annoying. Yeah, the Devil Sword Dante is really cool. And I'll switch over to the shotgun for this guy because I don't like fighting him. I usually just use Trickster on this boss, or not really boss, I guess kinda. He's in one of those like mini boss thresholds where he's not exactly a boss, but he's annoying enough to where might as well be. Yeah, you basically just have to keep using Trickster and the shotgun to evade his attacks. He's a very annoying guy to fight, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, the next time I get a big room of enemies, I'll go ahead and use the Sin Devil Trigger. That way you can see it in action. Ooh, just parried his swing there. Yeah, after unlocking the Devil Sword Dante, I never went back to Rebellion or Sparda. Yeah, the annoying thing about this guy is that when he's doing that, he actually turns like, I don't know if he's completely invincible, but he's definitely resistant to flinching. And it's very annoying. With Nero, you can just grab him and slam him on the ground. Not so much with Dante. You just have to keep moving and shooting. There we go. Alright, now to move on. Yeah, as you can see, my Sin Devil Trigger gauge is full now, and when I hold it down, now it starts turning yellow. That means it's about to trigger the Sin Devil Trigger. Just for reference, I'll show you the regular Devil Trigger first, just to show you the difference between them. This one is just your standard Devil Trigger. Pretty much like the one from DMC4, but slightly different. More refined, I would say. But it's pretty much the same thing. And as you can see, it just turned off there. The big main difference is that when you're in the Sin, or just regular Devil Trigger, the Devil Sword Dante actually... I'm going to try to charge it up once I get out of this little cage here. But you can charge up the Devil Sword Dante to be able to add different moves. Like if you're in Royal Guard, little swords will come out to shield you. If you're in Trickster and you dash, swords will dash forward. In Sword Master, they basically just like complement your attacks. So I'll go ahead and charge that up right now, as you can see it charging. And then when you release it, the sword kind of splits open a little bit, and then you have swords around you. So when you start slashing like this, you'll see that swords come and help you out. And then when you press B in Sword Master, it actually has them come flying out and attacking for you, which is very cool. And the attack changes depending on what you're doing. So it is very nice. Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate the Sin Devil Trigger here and just quickly wipe the floor with these guys. As you can see, Devil Sword Dante stabs him through the chest, and you awaken into the Sin Devil Trigger. And this is the shooting ability. You just fire a bunch of massive blasts out. This mode is very similar to the Majin form. As you can see, that's another devastating attack there. But yeah, it is very reminiscent of the Majin form from DMC2. But they kind of retconned it now, where DMC2 actually takes place before DMC4, whereas a lot of people thought DMC2 was the latest in the series, like the furthest off. But nope, apparently in this one they changed the story to where now DMC2 happens before DMC4. So it kind of messes with the canon a little bit. But I guess somebody said something that made sense. They said it was basically just that Dante in Devil May Cry 4 was never really pushed far enough to have to use anything like the Majin form. So I don't know if that's true or not, because why didn't he just use the Majin form in this one? Or maybe he just didn't have it. So who knows? There's some, I would like Capcom to come out and explain how it fits in the canon exactly. But yeah, one cool thing you'll notice about the Devil Sword Sparda, when you're holding it out like this, instead of just putting it onto his back, as you'll see in a second here, huzzah! It just kind of magically warps to his back. But yeah, it's a very cool detail, and definitely goes to show how much stronger Dante is now than Sparda was. Which, I'm assuming this is Sparda right here, actually. Because this, you'll see it later on in the mission, but this actually leads to Dante's old house, and that's where you get the Devil Sword Dante. Which is a very cool sequence, because he has Sparda on his back, and then he has Rebellion shattered from when he fought Urizen. And then during the fight with Urizen, and when he shatters Rebellion, he comes back to the house. And by this point in the game, you've already seen the cutscene where V explains that Virgil, in his corrupted state, he's the one who stole the sword from, stole the sword from Nero. Technically stole his arm with the sword inside. So, semantics there. But yeah, it was explained in Mission 12 that Virgil, in his corrupted state, came by and stole the Yamato from Nero. And then he went back to his old home, and he stabbed himself in the chest with the Yamato, which split his soul in half from the demon and the human side. And the demon side became Urizen, and the human side became V, which is the playable character that wears all black. So that's how because that was in the cutscene before this mission started. I just kind of skipped by it to save time. But yeah, that's what happens. So basically, Virgil splits his devil and human form in half, and that's how V and Urizen are created. So they basically explain how, in this mission, you'll see it later, how Dante's like, oh, well, if Yamato can separate man from devil, then what about the Rebellion? So he stabs himself with the broken Rebellion, and the Sparda and Rebellion fuse together, and it creates the Devil Sword Dante. Or technically speaking, first it creates the Sin Devil Trigger, and then from the Sin Devil Trigger, he manifests the two swords into the Devil Sword Dante. So now, Dante is like, either on the same level as Sparda, or surpassed him at this point. Because the Devil Sword Dante is quite a bit stronger. As you can see there, even while you're running, which is a cool animation. But you'll see when you run, it just kind of warps onto your back. It's just very cool. It's a nice little detail. But yeah, it is a incredible game, I will say. It is super fun to play. Certainly the best in the series, I would say. Alright, we got it charged up again. Now this is where the blood guys are first introduced. The annoying little warpers. As you'll see in the cinematic here. Yeah, this game adds a lot of new characters and enemies to it. And they bring back some fan-favorite weapons. Yeah, see? Dante's quite a bit better at this. But yeah, the funny thing is that some of the enemies are actually weapons, which I didn't even catch the first time playing through. I had to read the documents that Nico has in the journals, where apparently, I should have guessed by the name, or the names, because there's two of them. But there's an enemy called Gilgamesh, who's that giant walking, like, four-legged thing that Nero fights. And obviously Gilgamesh was the name of his gauntlets in DMC4 that Dante had. And then you have Artemis, which is another demon that shoots, like, purple beams. And I completely forgot that in DMC1 and DMC3, you have a gun called Artemis. And then they explain in the catalog for the boss that it used to be a weapon that got turned into a demon. And I was like, oh, obviously. Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate the Sin Devil Trigger again here. Ooh. Just amazing. Yeah, I'll do some different attacks on this one. This move here is incredibly powerful. You just hold down right trigger and it just kind of locks on to enemies around you. As you can see, it does an incredible amount of damage when it hits them. Just completely killed that other demon over there. These ones it's slightly harder to use on just because they're constantly warping. But yeah, if you have a room full of demons, using that one or using the one with left trigger is very powerful. Oh, looks like I have a full Sin Devil Trigger gauge again. Yeah, you gain it pretty quickly. There we go. These guys are so annoying. I hate fighting them so much. The only problem with the Sin Devil Trigger is that you don't regain health in that one. So in that way, it's kind of worse than the Devil Trigger, but you also don't take any damage while you're in the Sin Devil Trigger. So it has its trade-off. Oh, nope, don't do it. This guy is giving me a little more trouble than I was anticipating. Yeah, on Son of Sparda and higher, this guy actually is, like, almost a boss fight. It's very reminiscent. There we go. It's very reminiscent to the character from DMC, the reboot. The one with the twin swords. He's kind of like that, where he's always warping around. But I would say this one's even harder, because his attacks are a lot less telegraphed. This one I'll go ahead and show you the other Sin Devil Trigger ability, even though these enemies are not very strong. But this one, when you hold left trigger, you actually create a little orb in the room, and it kind of like pauses time while you're using it. And then as you can see, when it's done being used, it just creates a massive explosion. And just really devastates the enemies around you. Now luckily some of them dropped health when they died, so I won't have to be too far gone there. Yeah, it's always good to destroy these things when they open up. This actually summons demons out of it, so you wanna knock that down as quickly as you can. Oh. Maybe not put all your focus on it, though. Come on, just a couple more hits. Drop me. Just gonna use regular Devil Trigger for this one, just so I can get some health back. Yeah, the Devil Sword Dante, it actually changes his moveset, too. Like, when you're using Swordmaster, it just creates these little swords that go around and attack. So it's not like using Rebellion, where when you're in Swordmaster, that's the only way to do combos in the air. It basically makes his sword attacks like Nero, where just pressing Y in the air is how you do aerial combos, and then pressing back and Y is how you do the Helmbreaker coming down like that. So it's not entirely the Rebellion moveset, it's a lot different. And Prop Shredder actually is used like this, where instead of before, where you could just press B, now you have to do Y twice, give it a pause, and then repeatedly tap Y. And that's how you do the Prop Shredder now. So for Sparda and Rebellion, it stays the same, but whenever you're using Devil Sword Dante, you have to do it that way. So it does change quite a bit. Yeah, this is supposed to be Dante's, like, fully unleashed power in sword form. So of course it's going to be the strongest one of the bunch. Yeah, there's actually a fight that takes place before this game even starts, where I guess Dante, I don't know if it's in one of the comics or something, but apparently after you kill Burial in DMC4, a demon takes over called Balrog, and that's what the gauntlets are in this one. These ones here, he got that from a fire demon, the new king of the fire hell. And then of course you also have Cerberus again, which I'll probably show off that boss fight at some point. And then as you saw probably in the trailers, it has fire abilities now. Although the thunder abilities are actually not really that prevalent. The thunder ones only come from charged attacks. Like you see here, when I charge it down and continue pressing B, now it's thunder. But if you just normally press B, it's just fire. But if you were to charge it, then it turns into electric attacks. And then with Y as well, if you hold it down, it turns it into an electric combo. Which is pretty cool. But it's mostly an ice and fire kind of weapon. It doesn't have much electricity in there. And then of course you have Cavalier. I'll show that off a little bit here. Oh, I thought there was a cutscene there. This, as you can tell, is the deluxe edition version, which has red accents on it. I don't really use this one that much just because of how slow it is. And it really opens you up to combos. Like that right there. But it does stagger a lot of enemies. Like you see right here, even the heavy guys get staggered by it. So yeah, it definitely has its uses, but I'm not a big fan of it. I'm going to try to use Balrog and heat it up. If you basically do like 10 attacks in a row like this, yeah, there it goes. You go into ignition mode, which makes your attacks a lot stronger. Now I'll switch over to the kick style. Ooh, look at this. Yeah, when you press back and Y, you switch over to the Capoeira style. Whereas before, when you would use the gauntlets, it would be like mostly the hand, and then you would do the kick in midair. But now the kick is on the leg side, it's not on the other side. So you have to switch over to the kicking side to be able to use that now. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. Yeah, this is another one I don't really use that much, just because it's a little more difficult to fight multiple enemies with. This is more of a one-on-one kind of weapon. As you can see here, it does a large amount of damage, but doesn't really have much range to it. Alright, I think we just have one more blood sack left, and then we'll be able to move on to the Urizen boss fight.
Don't want to keep Mr. Demon King waiting.
Yes, Dante, he is already ready. Yeah, I think it's cool in this game. As you can see, he has a bunch of blood on him now. The game has a lot of detail in it. Because that'll happen, obviously, since I opened up a blood sack there, that's how it happened. But other times as well, you'll just be fighting demons. And if there's a lot of blood going around, that's what'll happen. I think I can just leap right into there. Yeah. Just bypass the door completely. Yep, there it is. Yeah, because you're supposed to go to this on the other side of the wall, but I can just skip right past it. Yeah, there are a couple shortcuts if you know how to do it. Yeah, instead of going through there... Oh, wait, wrong way. It ran me through to the other side.
It's been a while since I used my brain this much.
Yeah, I think that's a funny little throwback to the other DMC games where you had to do puzzles like that more often. See, now the catacombs are open. And this will lead to a cinematic. A very cool cinematic, too. I'll just go ahead and let it play out when it happens. So obviously, this is a video for the Sin Devil Trigger, and that cinematic is very important for the Sin Devil Trigger. So you can see you have divinity statues in this one, too. Yeah, sometimes it's telephones, sometimes it's Nico's van, other times it's divinity statues. It always kind of changes around. Yeah, as Dante will say here,
Can't believe any of this is still standing.
this is obviously the old home of Dante, which with this city being named Redgrave, it makes sense why he went by Tony Redgrave. That's what this game kind of explains. So yeah, this is his house. You can't go too far in because it just starts a cinematic, but you'll be able to see from out here. It's a pretty nice home. It's obviously gone through some bad times, but very nice place. And then when you walk in here, the cinematic will trigger, and I'll just go ahead and let this one play through.
Ha! There you are. Hey, what's wrong with you? Hey! Hey, Dante!
The demonic power was activated in me once, when Virgil lovingly jammed this through my chest. I always wondered, why did my father give me the rebellion?
Okay, what are you muttering?
Over the years, I've been stabbed and jabbed by a number of things. But who would have ever guessed?
Yeah, this part here, I was losing my mind.
You lost your mind? There's a demon to destroy!
It's kind of like Griffin watching this part.
I'll help!
If the Yamato can separate man from devil, then what about the rebellion?
Wow. You are absorbing the Sparda!
Yeah, this here is one of the mini jaw-dropping scenes of this game. Pretty incredible. And there it is, folks. There's the Sin Devil Trigger, Dante's true form. Yeah, this was actually, because you see Dante and his Sin Devil Trigger first when you're playing as Nero fighting Urizen, because you actually do get through Urizen's defenses and cut his hand, and that really pisses him off. So during the fight right here that you're seeing, a demon comes in, and then later they explain that that demon's Dante.
I knew you couldn't be killed that easily.
Yeah, he's pretty much in his Majin form here. It's like the Devil Trigger is pretty much the same. Like when you hit the shooting button, it fires out blasts. So it's pretty much just the Majin form. Probably stronger though, because they're both invincible when you're in them. Alright, the battle begins. Here's where they reveal the Devil Sword Dante for the first time. Just a crazy scene. After all of that, and then he created his own new Devil Sword. It's like, oh my god, it just gets better.
Dante.
Yeah, by this point in the game, you already know that that's Virgil's devil side. Which I think is funny, because I guess, I don't know if V told him already, but Dante pretty much knows throughout the whole game. As you can see, his table hopper ability just makes him teleport too, which is very cool. Yeah, this boss fight on the harder difficulties is actually pretty difficult, not gonna lie. You can pretty much beat him in human form as well, but it's better just to go into the Sin Devil Trigger to get some extra damage. Which is funny because he even says that when you're fighting him, he's like, Dante, you dare approach me in that form? See, even he knows you should be in the bigger form. Yeah, I'm going to use the Devastation or whatever it's called on him. The left trigger one. As you can see, it kind of holds him in place a little bit. Then I'm going to do the multi-blast one there. Yeah, these are really good for boss fights or just clearing out rooms. Specifically during the Urizen boss fight, obviously. You actually fight this guy like 4 times throughout the game. It's actually very cool. You can actually end the game early on the prologue if you're playing. Basically, you beat the game and come back as Nero fully powered. And you can actually kill Urizen on the prologue mission. And it's like, and they lived happily ever after. And then it just goes straight into the credits. And you actually get an achievement for it for 100 gamer score. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I like how they put in that detail. Whoop. Just do regular Devil Trigger to put some work on the crystal. And then I'll do Sin Devil Trigger to do damage on him directly. Whoa! Just barely dodged that. Yeah, if you notice, his attacks actually take over the bosses in the game, like Artemis, where she does the purple beams that blast down. He has that too. And he also has the fireballs that Goliath uses. And I'm pretty sure he has more. Yeah, like that beam's also from Artemis. Whoa, hello. Alright, time to Sin Devil Trigger. Yeah, I'm just gonna break the crystal real quick and then go in for the kill. I don't know if I'll be able to kill him quite yet. Oh no, he actually got me. It's mostly expensive to use red orbs, so let's see. That's not too bad. I'll just, you know what, I'll do the 22,000 one. I have quite a few red orbs from using the Dr. Faust. Yeah, you actually can't use healing items anymore. They took those away. The only items you have now are the gold orbs. So it makes Dante Must Die a little bit harder when you can't rely on healing items. It does make it very difficult. I'm just going to destroy that crystal. Crush it. Oh, did I get it? Oh, I got it. Oh, you're dead now, son. I'm just going to finish him off with regular Devil Trigger. Switch over to Swordmaster to do some extra damage. Come on, you're almost there. Just a couple more slashes. Ooh, gotcha. Yeah, it's like the first part of the game where you're actually putting damage on Urizen. Because I think the boss fights, I think it goes Nero in the prologue, and then Nero again, and then Dante in the prologue, and then Dante again. And then you fight Urizen again later, a third time as Dante. Yeah, this is where the Qlipoth route finally emerges. And the people in the city are not very happy about it. Yeah, there's not much more Sin Devil Trigger footage in the cutscenes. I'll just kind of skip past them. But yeah, that's the form. It is very powerful. Pretty much like the Majin form from DMC2. There's Lady there in her digging jumper. Yeah, I have the EX colors turned on. I don't know if it works for Lady in that outfit, but I know it does in the other one. As you can see, Trish and V also have their EX forms on. Which is kind of funny because V's EX form, it adds the details and close to the color of Virgil's coat. But it definitely has like the designs of Virgil's coat. But yeah, I'm sure they made it green just so it's slightly different from Virgil. But it would be kind of funny if they just changed his changed his shoes to gold and his coat to blue. He would have just looked exactly like Virgil.
The Qlipoth is revealed in its entirety.
Yes, it is. And skip this cinematic. Yeah, there's really not much that happens after that. Man, that style rating is low. Oh my god, a B. Well, I went through this the first time. I got an S rating. I don't know what happened between now and then. Have to comb through the footage. But yeah, anyway, that is the Sin Devil Trigger gameplay. I'll definitely be back with the next character's Devil Trigger gameplay, which is quite a bit of a spoiler, but you have been warned. So yeah, tomorrow's video will be that character's Devil Trigger, and then I'll be showing the second to last boss fight, and then the last boss fight, which are both very, very cool. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back then.